So now your next illustration is illustration 16 under your third chapter, that is employee cost. Now under this it says the standard output is 80 units for a given period. 4 workers, okay, there are 4 workers, that is W, X, Y and Z. Produce 70 units, 79 units, 85 and 90 units respectively. Okay, now the piece rate is rupees 3 per unit. Calculate piece wages of the workers according to the Merrick differential piece rate. Okay, Merrick differential piece rate, just how we calculated your previous problem, you will have to calculate this particular problem also as for Merrick's piece rate. Okay, now for W, now the only difference here is you will have to calculate it for each and every person individually. Okay, now firstly what you will take into consideration, what is the necessary information which is given to you. You will take the standard output, you will take what is the actual output which is given to you. The standard output is 80. Now what is the actual output as per W, as per the worker W? It is 70. It is 70 units. Okay, it is 70 units. Now what is the percentage, what is the formula that you will see? That is, you will see, now you will take into consideration your efficiency. Why are you taking your consideration into why are you taking efficiency into consideration is because the standard output is 80, okay, and what he's producing is 70. Now if you see in your Merrick's differential, it is telling different for the level of efficiency 80, and you have various percentages, right? Based on the efficiency, you will have to see whether he's deserving it or he's not deserving it. Now level of efficiency is equal to what is the actual output. What is the actual output he's producing? He's producing 70 units. And what is the standard output? It is 80 units. So into 100 will give you 87.5 units. Now the differential piece rate, now it is 87.5. 87.5 is coming up to, is coming between 83 to 100. 83 to 100 is 110%. 110% of his piece rate, right? So 87, it is between 83 to 100. That is 110% of ordinary piece rate. So 110 divided by 100 into 3. Okay, now into 3 because your piece rate is rupees 3. Okay, so 110, whatever the percentages you have to calculate based on the formula, that is 110 divided by 100 into 3, you will get your piece rate. Okay, you will get your differential piece rate. Okay, that is 3.30. now what are you going to do? You're going to calculate your wages also, like how we calculated in your earlier problem, right? Now in order to calculate wages, what is the formula? Actual output. What is the actual output? Okay, his actual output as per what was given in the question, that is 70 units, into what is the differential price rate which you just found out, that is 70 into 3.30, 231 rupees will be the wage for W. Similarly, you will have to do it for X, Y and Z also. Okay, firstly you will if there is any sort of percentages, if there is a standard and the output which is mentioned, you will first have to calculate what is the level of efficiency in order to see what is the percentage that you will have to charge. Now see, you're getting a different percent. Now see, if you're taking into consideration your X, okay, for X it is 98.75. okay, what is the standard? It is 80. What is he producing? He's producing 79. The level of efficiency is 98.75. now the rate is again differentiate. Okay, now again you will see 83 to 100, that is again 110. okay, so you will take into consideration 110 only. Okay, now here it is 120. okay, 120. Why is it 120? Because it is 1 or why is it 120? Because it is come up to 106. Now based on 106, where you will charge between above 100, that is 120% of ordinary piece rate. So similarly, you have to keep in mind what are the different percentages, and based on which how you have to calculate your entire solution to the particular problem. Similarly, you will calculate all of the for all of the 4 people. Okay, that is for W, X, Y and Z. Now moving on to your next illustration, you have illustration 17. Now in your illustration 17, it says there are 3 workers in a batch who have produced the following output in a particular day. That is, first worker has produced 115, second worker 130, third worker 140 units. The piece rate is rupees 1.50 per unit. Piece rate is given. Calculate the piece wages of workers according to Taylor's differential price rate when the standard output achieved is 120. Again, he's given a standard output, that is 120, and he is given also the actual units of the 3 workers. So firstly, what you will see when this is given, you will first see how you have to calculate the efficiency. Right now you will see, as per Taylor, what are the rates. Okay, as per Taylor, what are the rates, okay, that you have to take into consideration? That is 80%, 125%, or 50%, or whatsoever according to the question. Now, as per the particular question, now you will take into consideration Taylor's differential piece rate system. Now, as per that, you have your low rate and you have your high rate. Low rate will be below the standard and high rate will be above the standard. Okay, now for your low rate, it will be nothing but 80 divided by 100 into straight piece rate. Okay, 80 divided by 100 into straight piece rate. Now, if you have to take this particular thing into consideration, you will have to first see what is the necessary standards, okay, whether it is below the standard. Now, firstly, you will calculate below the standard, that is 80%, and next is above the standard. You will be wondering from where this 80% and 125% came. This is as per the formula. First, you will calculate below the standard, that is for below the standard, it is 80%, above the standard, it is 125%. So, 80 divided by 100 into whatever the piece rate is given to you, that is 1.50 per unit. Then again, for high standard, what is the piece rate which is given? You will calculate the thing and you will bring out the output. Okay, now after you bring out the output, you will calculate the normal thing for first worker. For first worker, what are the wages? That is based on whatever units he's producing into multiply the piece rate. Okay, for second worker, multiply with the piece rate. Now you will have to see whether the particular worker deserves the piece rate or not, because as you noticed in the earlier problem also, for one people, if you've clearly concentrated, for if it is below the standard, we do not give him the actual, we do not give him the calculated piece rate, right? We only give him the piece rate which is already available, or we do not calculate for that particular thing. See, suppose in your illustration 15 only, for example, okay, because it was a basic piece rate, so we did not give him a revision, right? So similarly in this particular problem also, if it is below the standard, you will not give him any sort of revision. Only if it is above the standard, you will give him the piece rate which is being worked out. Okay, whatever piece rate you get, that particular piece rate, you will give it to him. This is the piece rate and this is the piece rate. For below the standard, you are charging him one, because it is below the standard, 115 is below the standard, you are giving him 1.20. okay, if both the workers, again, if it is below the standard, you will give him the same unit, but if they are above the standard, you will give him the standard which is calculated, which is above the particular standard. Based on this, you will this is very easy. Taylor's differential price rate system is very easy. You only have to multiply your wages with your piece rate and give the answer, but calculation of this part is very, very important. You have to know now what is the percentage you will charge below the standard and what is the percentage you will charge above the particular standard, and based on that, you will have to calculate your piece rate. Okay, now again, your illustration 18 is also similar. The only difference here is only the 4 divided by 40. Now how you're getting this 4 divided by 40 is nothing but it is telling simple wages, that is rupees 4 per hour. Always divide your per hour by the units which are produced per hour, so you will get 0.10 paise. Okay, 0.10 paise. So similarly, you will have to work out this particular problem also, that is illustration 18, under your straight piece rate system and under your Taylor's piece rate system, because I've already worked out under straight piece rate system also for you all, and under Taylor's piece rate. It is again a repetition. It is a very simple problem. All you have to do is first write down whatever information is given to you, and based on that, you have to substitute the formula and you have to find out whether it is coming above the standard or whether it is below the standard. Okay, now your next illustration is your illustration 19. Now in your illustration 19 is again very similar to the previous illustration. I would want you all to work this as your homework problem, and I will want you all to come back if you have any sorts of doubts. Okay, so similarly, just keep in mind whatever I've taught you all, whatever information I've given you all, like whether it is for calculation of efficiency, whether it is for Taylor's differential wages, Merrick's differential wage, or if it is for a straight piece rate system. This is one problem. If you work out, you will know whether you're able to do the particular problem or you're not able to do. Please concentrate on the previous videos that I've posted. I've clearly explained to you all as to why we are doing such things and how we are calculating under different methods. Okay, Now we'll be moving on to your next topic, that is employee turnover. Now employee turnover is nothing but employee always means labor. Employee and labor are one and the same. Okay, now labor turn all of the now theory gives equal weightage. Okay, now don't miss out on the theory and just concentrate on the practicals. Theory gives you equal weightage. Now labor turnover is nothing but it is defined as the change in labor force in an organization during the given period of time. Okay, it is the change in the force of organization during a particular period of time. Okay, the change in labor force takes place mainly because of two reasons, either because of separations or either because of new appointments. Okay, there are two reasons, that is separation and appointment, because of which there is a continuous change in the in the labor. That is, the labor keeps changing. Now high labor turnover is not a good sign for an organization, because now you all are business study students and you will know how important an employee is to the organization. Employee is always considered as an asset to the organization, and labor turnover is a very bad sign for an organization because it leads to stoppage in the operation. When you do not have people to work, then you will not be able to produce on time, you will not be able to generate good sales, and also encounter enough number of profits. Okay, see, when you have a labor turnover, it will increase your cost, it will reduce your productivity. So it is a bad sign to the organization. Now what are the reasons for employee turnover? Work life imbalance. Basically they are not able to balance because of the necessary pressures, because of the environmental factors, or because of the economic factors, or because of there is a lot of demotivation in the organization, or there are unfair practices in the organization. Okay, the employee is facing all of these kind of things, that is long working hours. Okay, he is forced to choose between his personal life and work life and all of these. Okay, the next is the job did not meet up to expectations. Now suppose as a person I go and I enroll myself in a company saying that I want to be the employee of the company and I want to work for this particular organization, but somewhere the job is not matching my goals, is not matching my standard of living. Suppose the salary is not matching my standard of living, so it is not meeting up to my expectations, and also my job is not meeting up to my expectations. Then you have employee misalignment. Employee misalignment is basically an organization should never employ internal or external unless they are qualified. See, suppose if a particular person is qualified, you have to give the right person to the right job. You cannot suppose if the employee is overqualified or underqualified or whatsoever, based on his qualification you have to give him the particular job. Then feedback are lacking. Feedback are lacking is nothing but the employees are not given proper feedback as to how they need to improve their performance, and also the employees are also not giving the organization proper feedback as to how they have to train the employees and where they are lacking. Okay, the next is lack of decision making ability. Lack of decision making ability is basically, see, if it is a democratic organization, then decision making becomes very nice and very easy. Where there is authoritative, then it becomes really difficult, because the boss is taking control and the employees are not taken into consideration. Neither is the information, neither are the employees involved in the decision making. Then people skills are inadequate. People skills are inadequate because they are not given proper training and development. Suppose there is no right person for the right job which is selected, and all of these, because of these there are no proper skills. Okay, next is raises and promotion. Raises and promotion is basically, it is usually over the years, as and when the employees join the organization, then over the years they slowly start promoting the employees. Now if there is no promotion or motivation and bonuses which are given, this again becomes a reason for the employee turnover. So these are the various 7 reasons for the employee turnover. Okay, next you have measurement of employee turnover. Now how are you going to measure your employee turnover? Now there are 3 important methods of measuring employee turnover or labor turnover based on separation and replacement of labor. The methods of computing the turnover are separation method of employee turnover, replacement method, and flux method of employee turnover. Okay, now now you have various different formula for all the 3 methods. For separation method, you have separation method of employee turnover is equal to number of separations in a period divided by average number of employees in a period into 100. Okay, now we will be working out a particular problem on this same. So, your illustration 20. Now, during the month of January 2020, the number of workers employed on 1/1/2020 was 20 workers. At the end of the month, that is on 31st January 2020, the number of workers were on roll, okay, were 30 in number. The total number of workers who left the job during the period were 12. Okay, now how many workers were there? 20. Then on roll were 30. The how many are leaving? It is 12. Okay, calculate the labor turnover rate using a separation method. Now what is the formula for separation method? Separation method is equal to employee turnover is equal to number of separation in a period divided by average number of employees in a period into 100. Okay, now what you have to do is, how many separations are you seeing here? You are seeing 12 different separations. Before we move on to the solution, we are seeing 12 different separations. Okay, now what are the workers at the beginning? Workers are 20. What are the workers at the end? Workers are 30. Okay, now you have to calculate what are the average number of employees. I will be showing out the working of the problem. So to begin with the solution, you will see under separation method of labor turnover. Okay, we'll just cancel this out. Of labor turnover is equal to number of separation in a period divided by average number of employees in the period, okay, into 100. Now first see how many number of separations are there. Okay, first write down the number of separations. Okay, the number of separations is given in the question. Clearly there are 12 number of separations. Okay, now based on this particular separation, first you will have to, before you actually start off with the solution, you will also have to calculate what is the average number of employees. Now in order to calculate your average number of employees, okay, average number of employees, you will have to see employee at the beginning. Okay, the date is given. There were 20 workers. At the end, there were 30 workers. Employee at beginning minus, worker or employee, that is worker at the beginning and worker at end. These two this is divided by average. What is average? Average is always 2, right? So earlier you had 30 employees, now earlier you had 20 employees, now you have 30 employees divided by the average, that is 2. So 20 minus 30 divided by 2, you have 5. Okay, sorry girls, it is not minus but it is plus. 20 plus 30 divided by 2, that is giving you 25. Okay, so employee at the worker at the beginning plus worker at the end divided by 2, which will give you 25. I just got confused with the sign there. It was plus. Okay, now you have to check what is the separation method. This is one of the most easiest methods. Okay, now next, under this particular formula, you got what are the average number of employees, you saw what is the number of separations. Now you calculated this part. Okay, now next part for calculation is nothing but what are the number of separations. Okay, number of separation is separation method. Okay, now separation method of labor turnover. Okay, now separation method of labor turnover, how many separations did we see? We saw 12 separations. Now what is the average number of employees that we calculated at the considering the workers at the beginning and workers at the end? Divide 20 plus 30 divided by 2, we got 25, right? So 12 divided by 25 into 100. Okay, number of separations divided by the average number of employees into 100, that is 12 divided by 25 into 100, that is 48%. The overall percentage is 48%. Okay, we calculated the labor turnover rate. So 48% is your labor turnover rate. What did we do earlier? We took down the necessary formula. Okay, what under separation method, this is the formula. Under the formula, we saw what is the number of separations. There were 12 separations. Now we saw how many employees were there at the beginning plus how many employees were there at the end, divided by the average, because it says average number. You have to calculate the average. Then we calculated average. Then you took separations divided by the average into 100. You got your rate, that is 48%. Okay, so your next method is replacement method. Now your replacement method is nothing but replacement method of labor turnover is equal to number of replacements in a period divided by again average number of employees in a period into 100. Okay, so it says the total, now considering your illustration 21, it says the total number of employers in the organization were 2,100. Okay, very careful, be very careful with the number. If you want, you can mark it out in the pencil while you're working out in the exam. Okay, out of which 800 of them left. Okay, there were 2,100, out of them 800 which were out 800 left, and in their place 600 of them were newly recruited. Okay, 800 from 800 600 were recruited. Okay, out of 800 who left, 600 were newly recruited. Now, the employees at the beginning of the period were 900. Now, at the end of the period, they were 1,800. Okay, now compute the percentage of labor turnover based on the replacement method. Now, let's work out under replacement method. Okay, so let's begin with the solution, and this is the formula. Now, what will you see? How many number of replacements are there? We saw there are number of replacements were 100. Okay, 600 new employees were replaced. Okay, that will be 600. Number of replacements were 600. Now you have to calculate, as we calculated earlier, you have to calculate your average. Okay, average number of employees. Now in order to calculate your average number of employee, you will see what are the number of workers at the beginning. At the beginning it is 900. How many workers are there in the end? Plus the workers at the end is 1,800. The average is divided by 2. Okay, so 900 plus 1,800, 900 plus 1,900 plus 1,800 divided by 2, that is 1350. Okay, 1350. Next, substitute this into the formula. Now replacement method of labor turnover is equal to, how many number of replacements are there? 600, divided by what is the average number of employees, that is 1,350 into 100. Okay, let's see what is the percentage. 600 divided by 1350 into 100 will give you 44.44%. Okay, that is 44.44% is your labor turnover rate. Okay, this is your labor turnover rate under your replacement method. Very simple, girls. It is just like how you did it in the previous method only, but earlier it was number of separations, here it is number of replacement. Okay, this is the only difference. Now let you have your next method, that is flux method of employee turnover. Now flux method is equal to number of separations. It is a combination of both the method, that is both the method in the sense the combination of separation method and combination of replacement method. So flux method is equal to number of separations plus number of replacement divided by average number of employees into 100. Now let's look into the next illustration. Okay, SNS Limited, illustration 22. SNS Limited is a concern which has the strength of 12,500 employees. During the period 1050 employees left his concern. The company started recruiting new employees in the place of those who left. Okay, company started recruiting. Now, those who left, 850 employees were newly placed in job. The number of employees at the beginning of the period were 1750 and at the end of the period were 12,350. Now, compute the percentage of labor turnover under the flux method. Okay, now number of separations is given, number of replacements are given to you. Now let's look into how we need to calculate. Okay, what we'll do, we'll calculate average, and based on that we will calculate. I will show you the working. So under your flex method, first you will see how many number of separations are there. Now number of separations in your question was given as 1050. Now how many number of replacements are there? Now how many number of separation is given? Replacement. Now how many number of replacement is given? It is given in the question, that is it is 850. Okay, now next, based on this Based on this, you will have to calculate your average number of employees. Now, by now, you will know how to calculate your average number of employees. Okay, that is nothing but your employees at the beginning plus your employees at the end divided by 2. Employees at the beginning was 1750. Employees at the end was 12,350. Okay, now this divided by 2. Okay, so 1750 plus 12350 divided by 2, that is 7050. Now very simple, you just have to substitute these two into the formula. So flux method is equal to number of separations is 1050 plus number of replacement is 850 divided by the average number of employees, that is 7050. Okay, into 100. 1050 plus 850 divided by 7050 into 100 will give you 26.95%. So the total labor turnover is 26.95%. Okay, so with this we end your 3 methods, that is still your flux method. So I hope this is all very clear to you. Now in your next video, we will be starting off with your next topic, that is cost of employee turnover. Thank you for watching.